one, put God first. Put God first in everything you do. Everything that you think you see in me, everything that I've accomplished, everything that you think I have, and I have a few things, everything that I have is by the grace of God. Understand that. It's a gift. 40 years ago, March 27th, 1975, it was 40 years ago, just this past March, I was flunking out of college. I had a 1.7 grade point average. I hope none of you can relate. I had a 1.7 grade point average. I was sitting in my mother's beauty shop. They still call it beauty shop now? What they call it now? Yeah, I was sitting in the beauty parlor. I was sitting in my mother's beauty parlor, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I see behind me this woman under the dryer. And every time she looked up, every time I looked up, she was looking at me, just looking me in the eye. And I didn't know who she was, and I said, she said, somebody give me a pen, give me a pencil. I have a prophecy. March 27, 1975. She said, boy, you are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. Now, mind you, I was flunked out of college. I'm thinking about joining the army. I didn't know what I was going to do, and she's telling me I'm going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. Well, I have traveled the world, and I have spoke to millions of people. But that's not the most important thing, the success that I had. The most important thing is that what she taught me and what she told me that day has stayed with me since. I've been protected. I've been directed. I've been corrected. I've kept God in my life, and it's kept me humble. I didn't always stick with him, but he always stuck with me. So stick with him in everything you do. If you think you want to do what you think I've done, then do what I've done and stick with God. Number 2, fail big. That's right. Fail big. Today's the beginning of the rest of your life, and it can be very frightening. It's a new world out there. It's a mean world out there, and you only live once. So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances professionally. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals. Life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. I try to give myself a goal every day. Sometimes it's just to not curse somebody out. Simple goals, but have goals. And understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. In order to achieve your goals, you must apply discipline, which you have already done, and consistency every day, not just on Tuesday and miss a few days. You have to work at it every day. You have to plan every day. You've heard the saying, we don't plan to fail, we fail to plan. Hard work works. Working really hard is what successful people do. And in this text, tweet, twerk world that you've grown up in, remember, just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Remember that. Just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Don't confuse movement with progress. My mother told me, she said, yeah, because you can run in place all the time and never get anywhere. So continue to strive, continue to have goals, continue to progress.
If you're a small business owner, let's talk about big benefits.
Number 3, you'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. I'll say it again. You'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. I don't care how much money you make, you can't take it with you. And it's not how much you have, it's what you do with what you have. We all have different talents. Some of you will be doctors, some lawyers, some scientists, some educators, some nurses, some teachers. Yeah, okay. Some preachers. The most selfish thing you can do in this world is help someone else. Why is it selfish? Because the gratification, the goodness that comes to you, the good feeling that I get from helping others, nothing's better than that. Not jewelry, not big house I have, not the cars, but it's the joy. That's where the joy is in helping others. That's where the success is. Finally, I pray that you put your slippers way under the bed tonight, so that when you wake up in the morning, you have to get on your knees to reach them. And while you're down there, say thank you for grace. Thank you for mercy. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for wisdom. Thank you for parents. Thank you for love. Thank you for kindness. Thank you for humility. Thank you for peace. Thank you for prosperity. Say thank you in advance for what's already yours. It's how I live my life. That's why I am. One of the reasons why I am today. Say thank you in advance for what is already yours. True desire in the heart for anything good is God's proof to you, sent beforehand to indicate that it's yours already. I'll say it again. True desire in the heart, that itch that you have, whatever it is you want to do, that thing that you want to do to help others and to grow and to make money, that desire, that itch, that's God's proof to you, sent beforehand already to indicate that it's yours. And anything you want good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back. Pull someone else up. Each one, teach one. Don't just aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference.
Come rain or shine, the job must get done. We get.
All right, let's run. Let me turn this camera on. All right, there we go. Yes, Grand Rising Familia. Hope everybody is feeling blessed and feeling amazing this morning. I know I am. I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so amazing. Thank you guys so much for hopping on Mornings with Nano this morning. It's always a pleasure. We're always growing. We're always elevating. And this is what life is all about. I'm looking forward to, an amazing day that we have so far. Today has really been, it's the curls for Nano. Yeah, I love my curls for some reason. I don't even really like it when it's straight. I just like it when I could just like put my hair through it and stuff. But really looking forward to, the call today because every morning is like, a new time for me to, pour into the family. And every time it's always a new lesson for people to grow from and elevate from. And it's just always a pleasure to see individuals, grow in ways that, it's amazing to see, fam. So I'm looking forward to today's call. Big happy smiles because life is amazing. Life is good. Everything is, working in our favor. Everything is, we're expecting the miracles and we're getting miracles. And today is Christmas, and we are just so blessed and so grateful that every single body on this call is going to experience massive breakthroughs and quantum leaps, fam. So looking forward to that. Can I get a 1 in the chat box if you accept that? I want to know that you accept that. You accept the quantum leaps, you accept everything, and it's really amazing. 111s, yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We accept that because life is truly amazing and everything is working in our favor, and we're just so blessed, so grateful. And in the meantime, as well, guys, let's express our gratitude. I want to get right into this call. What is one thing that you guys are grateful for this morning? Type it in the chat box. Let us know that what is one thing that you are grateful for. Let me resend the message out to everybody because I know I sent it with no topic. So let me just resend it really quick. If you guys don't know what the topic is, the topic to today's call are the zones that lead to greatness. Zones that lead to greatness, fam. That is today's call. The zones that lead to greatness. Okay. So, but let's get right into, the gratitude today. I am grateful for, God. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my mind, my body, and my spirit. I'm extremely grateful for my family, my mom, my dad, my little brother, my goddaughter, Dariana. I'm extremely grateful for my team and the leaders within my organization. I'm extremely grateful for Katie and everything that she's teaching me and everything that I've learned from her. I'm grateful for the roof over my head, the food I get to eat. I'm grateful for my time in Chicago so far. I'm grateful for the event that we have today. We have 100 people plus confirmed for our event here in Chicago today, which I'm super excited for. The event is going to be amazing. If you are in the Chicago area and you want to come to this event, make sure that you make it out. It's going to be a good one here today, guys. Really, really good one. I'm very, very excited about that. I'm grateful for the whole Mornings with Nano community and, everybody who jumps on these calls on a daily basis. I'm extremely grateful for my sister Jasmine and all the work that she does for the Mornings with Nano family behind closed doors that you guys don't know about. Just so much to be grateful for, fam. So, that's what I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for so much, everything that's been working in my favor and everything that's happening. Let me see if we can maybe go live on IG because it hasn't been working for me while I've been here. For some reason, the IG live has not been working, but let's give it another chance today. Maybe today it works a little bit. There we go. Let's go live. Okay, so let's talk about today's call, okay? Zones that lead to greatness, okay? If you're ready to take notes, let's take notes because the call is ready and we are ready to go. Okay, so today's topic is the zones that lead to greatness. Okay, and I haven't taught this training. I think I've only taught it once. The last time I checked, I taught this back in 2021. So it's actually been almost a year since I last taught it. But I wanted to talk about the zones that lead to greatness because it's important for you to know where you are in your zone, okay? And these zones are very key. And I remember, learning about these zones early on and finding out where I was and knowing, what I needed to do in order for me to get to the next levels, okay? Because, sometimes you may be moving in a certain direction, but you may not know what zone you're in. And I'm going to talk about these zones because it's important that you know where you're at. And it's important that you also know, what you need to be doing on a day-to-day basis in order for you to get to the next zones that'll help you level up and help you get to where you want to go to. Now, something I do want to tell you before we get started, okay? The only way that you can move from zone to zone and actually elevate your lifestyle is if you are aware of where you are and if you're willing to take the risk to go to the next zone. Okay, so these are the zones that are going to lead to your greatness. Okay, there's 5 zones that lead to your greatness, and the goal is to get to the 5th zone. All right, but the first one, can anybody guess what the first zone is? Is something that we are all very, very familiar with. We are all familiar with this zone. We live in this zone, and it's something that we stay with. Okay, and Carlos said it in the chat box. The first zone, number one, is the comfort zone. Okay, this is where it starts, but we're gonna start leveling up to the next zone. Now, as we all know, the comfort zone is where most people live and die. All right, now stay with me here on this training. This training is so valuable if you actually listen to the message. Okay, stay with me here. Okay, make sure you guys pay attention to this because this will show you where you actually are in your zone on your way to greatness. Okay, and this is a great place for you to realize where people in your life, in your team, everything is. The name of the training is the zones that lead to greatness. Okay, so the first zone, as we all know, is the first zone, the comfort zone. And like I said, this is where most people live and die. Okay, and the comfort zone is where you're comfortable doing what you're doing. You're doing the same things that you've always been doing. Nothing grows in this zone. You have the same habits, you have the same thoughts, the same feelings, the same comfortable results. It is said that if you're not growing, you're dying. Okay, that's literally a saying. If you're not growing, you are dying. And it's so true because if you think about it, if you're not working every day to grow yourself, even if it's 1% a day, then you're dying. And not literally dying on the moment, but you're getting closer to the day that you die. Because at the end of the day, if you're not growing to become 1% better, then you're dying and getting closer to your death, which is whenever God decides, obviously. So there's that saying that if you're not growing, then you're dying. And the reason for that is because you got comfortable doing the same thing. You got comfortable with your wake up time. You got comfortable with the things that you're thinking about, the money that you're making, the people that are joining your business. You got comfortable with all of these things. You got comfortable with not going to the gym. You got comfortable with not doing your morning routine. You got comfortable, and now you're in that comfort zone. And I'm telling you guys right now, the comfort zone is the most dangerous place to be. And this is always a good reminder, even for me, for somebody who's, lived outside of his comfort zone for so long already. Even for me, this is such a great reminder because it's like, yo, Nano, you can never go back to this comfort zone. And it kind of also reminds me and shows me like, maybe you've been comfortable too much a little bit with this or with that. And understanding that, nothing is ever going to grow in that comfort zone. Nothing will ever grow in that comfort zone. I will never get anything from staying comfortable. And when I first started this journey, guys, I kind of like, how do I want to tell you? I would want to reject that idea. I would want to reject the idea that, all because I was comfortable, I wasn't going to grow. Because obviously, I wanted to stay comfortable. If I'm honest with you guys, I wanted to stay comfortable. Nobody wanted to, live uncomfortably. And, when I first got into entrepreneurship, I kept hearing people say, yo, you got to get comfortable with getting uncomfortable. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about getting uncomfortable. Like, I want to stay waking up at this time. I want to do what I'm doing. I was comfortable where I was at. And I was stubborn. As coachable as I am now, guys, I used to be very stubborn back in the days. I was somebody that if you told me to do something, I was always the one that would question everything. How is this going to help me? What is this person trying to get out of me? I was always that person that would always reject ideas and things that were there to help me grow. But because I wanted to stay comfortable, and because I wanted to stay the same person that I would reject all these ideas. So when I first started to hear these things like, oh, if you're not growing, you're dying, and your comfort zone, damn Gemini, facts. And when I started to hear that, these things, I was like, you know what, maybe it's true, maybe it is, but I'm not gonna listen to it. So when I first heard it, I didn't listen to it, and I regret not listening to it, because I'm like, man, I wish I would have just started it a lot earlier. I wish I would have just listened a lot earlier, because I stayed in my comfort zone for 6 months in this business. When I first started my entrepreneurship journey, I stayed in my comfort zone for 6 months. And I always tell this story because I don't ever want you guys to make the same mistakes that I made. I made in all reality stupid mistakes. Like, I should have never been stuck in my comfort zone for that long. I started this business in September, and I didn't start stepping out of my comfort zone until March. So 6 months later was when I said, you know what? Let me start stepping out of my comfort zone. Let me start doing things that make me uncomfortable. And for 6 months, all I did was stay in my comfort zone. I woke up at the same time or whenever I wanted to. I hung out with the same friends. I took the same actions. I ate the same foods. I barely went to the gym. I was in a very, very, very comfortable place in my life. It was just like, but the results sucked. I was broke. It wasn't like I was comfortable, but I was broke though. So I didn't have any results. I wasn't making any impact. I wasn't happy. I was unhappy. I was stressed. I was overwhelmed. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. If I'm truthfully honest, when I was comfortable, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, because after a while, being that I'm also a very competitive person, after a while, you kind of start looking around and you're like, damn, like, you're actually broke, bro. Like, look at you. Like, you're 24 years old, you're living with your mom and dad, like, who are you really telling anything? Like, you go into restaurants, you can't even buy the food that you want. I was in a relationship at the time. I would have to save up money for a week to even take her out to eat. And when I would take her out to eat, I would have to wait till she ordered first so I could see what she got, because I only had $60 on me. So I had to make sure that everything added up to the right amount. And I would only tell her, like, yo, let's drink, let's have water with lemon today. You feel me? Let's not tap into those drinks today. I don't feel like drinking, but obviously I just didn't have the money for the drinks. You know what I'm saying? And I'm keeping a G, because these were the things that happened to me. And this was what's happening to me when I was comfortable. I was comfortable. I was like, yo, I couldn't even go out to eat and enjoy a meal. There were times I had to order, appetizers. I couldn't even order the entree. Had to lie, like, yo, I ate before I came here. Mom made me some food. Mom made me some food before I came here. So, I'm gonna just grab some little appetizers. I'm not really feeling it. I'm gonna just grab some, some not the edamames, but I would grab a little appetizer. You feel me? But fronting like I got it though, right? No, fronting like I got it, I had it. Like, yeah, I'm good, we good. Don't even worry about it. But in reality, deep down inside, I was sick, because you got to think about it, right? You got to think about it. I'm 24 years old. I'm a grown ass man. I graduated from college. You know what I'm saying? I graduated from college. I'm a grown man. I'm still living with my parents. Yeah, but it was like, yo, Nano, you don't even got money to, take shorty out to eat, bro. So, I got sick and tired of that, bro. I got sick and tired of living like that. I was like, bro, how is it that, bro, you're a 24-year-old man, you're living with your parents, you don't have a job, you're making your money, who knows, God knows how, It was time for me to be done with that. And it was while I was in my comfort zone, that's what happened to me. I was too comfortable and my results sucked and my life sucked and I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. And I was sick and tired of it, guys. And this is me, going back in time to explain to you guys what my life was like when I was in my comfort zone. And my comfort zone sucked. Like I said, it was a tough time for me because I wasn't growing. I wasn't growing in no areas. Remember, in your comfort zone, nothing grows. So remember what we say, your income is a direct reflection of your personal development. I didn't even know about personal development. And if I did know about personal development, I rejected it because I'm like, I don't need that stuff. I don't need to listen to Jim Rohn. I don't need to jump on Mornings with Nano. I used to be that person. So I was never growing. So since my income is a direct reflection of my personal development, and I never did personal development, what you think my income was? It sucked. Guys, I didn't even have a job. That just goes to tell you everything. Imagine you without a job, living with your parents. And my mom and dad, as nice of people as they are, would literally just give me $20 a day. And that was so I can eat lunch while they were at work from 8 to 4. So I can have something to eat in between. So by the time they got home, I didn't have any money because I had already ate some lunch. And then I would eat food at home, and then that's it. And that's it. And that's how real it is, fam. I promise you, when I was in my comfort zone, that was the true stories of how it was. Yo, broke, nothing. But it was because I wasn't growing. I didn't have any desire. I didn't have a vision. I didn't have a goal. I didn't have a morning routine. I had nothing going for myself. Lazy, you can name it. And it's crazy because you look at me now and I'm so disciplined and I'm a morning routine and I'm the most uncomfortable person that you can name. But I wasn't always like that. And I want you guys to know that, because I don't want you guys to think that I was always like this and that I was always this Nano that you guys see now. Remember, guys, I've been in this for 5 years. Okay. I've been in this for 5 years. So I'm giving you guys stories from 5 years ago, when I was on the block with my friends and we didn't even have $10 for the dime. We would have to go 3. Yo, I got 3. He got 4. He got 4. We didn't even have the whole $10. We had to split it up. Like it was like that, seriously. But we had to get out of that comfort zone. And this is what I want you guys to understand. You have to get out of the comfort zone. The comfort zone will keep you broke. It'll keep you down. It'll keep you really, really low. The comfort zone is the worst place to be. And the comfort zone, like I said, is your own regular habits. Those habits that keep you the same way. That's zone number 1. And we'll come back to it. Okay. But zone number 1 is the comfort zone. Zone number 2. Now, this is the zone that I had to get into after 6 months. Okay. And zone number 2 is called the fear zone. Okay. The fear zone is zone number 2. Okay. The fear zone is the unknown. This is the fear zone. Now that I had decided, I said, you know what? I got sick and tired of living the way that I was living. I said, bro, I can't do this no more, Nano. It's time for you to level up your lifestyle. It's time for you to start making some changes in your life. Now, what I did was I got into the fear zone. I got into the unknown. I said, you know what? Now I'm going to start to, try and attempt to do all of these things. Let's see if this stuff that everybody is telling me to do is actually true. Let's see if it's true that I need to live, I have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And now it was time for me to step out of that box. Because, I always describe, the comfort zone. Think of your comfort zone as this box. Let's say that this book represents, the comfort zone. This is zone number 1. Zone number 2 represents the fear zone when you step out. This zone you don't know about because you've never been out here. You've always been stuck in your comfort zone, the box. The box is your comfort zone. Now, the moment I stepped out, this was my fear zone. Okay, because I was doing things that I had never done before. I was waking up at a time that I had never woke up before. I was talking to people that I had never talked to before. I was listening to, audios that I had never listened to before. I was doing things that I had never did before. I was taking flights to places that, I never been to before to learn and go to certain events, speaking engagement events that, not that I was speaking at, because at the time I couldn't even speak. But, to speak at, to hear, the Bob Proctors of the world and hear the top entrepreneurs of the world go and speak. These were all things that were all new to me. I had never done any of those things, but those were the things that helped me realize Me stepping out of my comfort zone into the fear zone was what made me realize what I am capable of. The best decision I made, this is why I always tell people, go to an event, go to a convention, go to, one of those entrepreneur events where you can learn from other people, because those things are so valuable. My first event was in March in Vegas. I had never been to Vegas. And you know what's funny? Man, what's up with this dog? But I want to tell you guys this because I think it's important that you guys listen to this. When I was in the journey, I got invited to an event in Vegas, right? I got invited to this event in Vegas. And at the time, like I said, I was broke. So I barely had the money to go. I didn't have no money to go to Vegas. But my boy Darwin convinced me to come. He said, bro, you got to go. You got to go. You got to make it. You got to be there. You can't make any excuses. He said, and I'll never forget the words. He said, bro, it will cost you more not going to the event than actually paying to go to the event. That's what he said to me. And those words always stuck with me. He said, bro, it will cost you more not to go to the event than actually paying to go to the event. And I said, why you say that? Why would it cost me more? He said, bro, because think about it. You miss the experience. You've never been to Vegas, right? I was like, nah. He was like, you get a chance to experience Vegas. You won't experience it if you don't come. You get a chance to learn from millionaires. You get to learn from a lot of different people. You get to meet people. You get to do all of these things, all of these experiences. And that cost you more. Think about it. There's no better experience than you being around millionaires, than you being able to visit a new city that you've never been to, than you trying new foods and, leaving the hood, bro. All you know is these four corners right here. Like, that's all you know right there. The corner, the store to buy your stuff, and the block with the boys. That's all you know. That's all you've known your last few years of your life. The block. You're trapped in this block, and that's all you know. All you know is these four corners. You don't know what the world looks like, Nano. You don't know what it's like out there. You haven't seen the world yet. And he's telling me these things, and I'm like, damn, he's right. He's right. He's telling me, he's keeping it 1,000 with me. And I remember taking that risk and flying out there on my last dollar. I barely had any money. It was to the point where I flew out there and, me and my boys were sharing meals. We would, my boy would buy something and he would be like, bro, I'm going to buy this so we can share this, bro. You feel me? Like, yo, throw me $10. We'll split this food right here. And we wasn't eating at no fancy spots like I do now. We were eating at spots that will cost us 15 cash, $20. Chick-fil-A's, like Chick-fil-A is legendary in the hood for us. When we on the road, we love Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is where it's at. So but it was tough because I had made that sacrifice. But me going over there, that was what changed everything for me, though. The fact that I went out there, and think about it, I'm a kid from the hood. I've been stuck. I've been in my comfort zone all, for multiple years. And I'm at this event now, and I'm learning from millionaires, and I'm learning from all of these incredible people. And people are coming up to me and they're like, bro, what's up? You're Darwin's boy. You're from New York. You must be such a savage, man. How's everything going for you? You're killing it in business. And I'm like, yo, only if you knew that. I'm not even all in, my guy. I'm just here to show love for real. But people were coming up to me like if I was successful and like if I was that guy. And, I'm hearing these millionaires speak and I'm hearing about their stories. And I'm hearing their stories and I'm in the back. I'm all the way in the back. I didn't even have money to get into the event. My boys were sneaking me in to the side. Real New York guys. Think about it. I didn't even have the money to get into the event because I didn't have the money to buy the ticket. So my boys found a way to sneak me in through the side door. There was a side door that they can just like open real quick. I could just sneak in and make believe that I was in the event, like with them, with no badge, no nothing. So what I would do is I would sneak in, boom, and I would just sit in the back and I would not move. I wouldn't move. I would sit in between people so that, I wouldn't be sitting in one of the corners. I would sit like in the middle right here so that none of the people like walking around could try to bother me and ask me for my credential. You know, he said, y'all gotta be from the Bronx. Yeah, bro, we from the hood. But it's funny because that hustle was what helped me have that breakthrough. And I remember sitting down, you know, at that event and listening to these millionaires. And I wasn't even taking notes in those days. I was just listening. I was just taking the moment in. And I remember taking those and listening to these millionaires talk about, you know, the risk that they took and how they started from the bottom and how they were broke and how they came to these events, and, you know, how they're now speaking on stages and they're making, you know, $100,000 a month, and their parents are sitting, you know, front row, and they're celebrating their parents, and they have everybody clapping for their parents. And I started to see this stuff, and I was like, yo, that guy did it, I could do it. You know, if he did it, I could do it too. You know, he was doing, this is one specific speaker that, you know, had his parents in the event, and he brought them up on stage and had everybody clapping, you know, for his parents. And, you know, he came from humble beginnings. And I was like, bro, I want to do that one day. I want to be able to bring my parents on stage one day and have everybody in the crowd clap for my parents for all the sacrifices that they made. That was like the ultimate level of recognition for their parents. And that event changed everything for me. But to go back to what I'm talking about with the fear zone, if it wasn't for me doing what I was scared of, which was flying to a new city and doing something that I had never done before, which was go to an entrepreneur event, I would have never had the breakthrough that I had, because after that event was the day that I decided to go all in. After that event was when I decided that enough was enough. I said, enough with me being comfortable, enough with me staying the same. It's time for me to go and do things that I've never done now. Okay. And I stepped into that fear zone. Okay. And yo, I'm telling you, in those days, I had to do what I had to do to make it happen. You know, because at the end of the day, remember, this fear that we create in our mind, you know, fear has an acronym, and they say fear stands for false evidence appearing real. You know, sometimes you create this story in your mind about a specific, you know, idea or specific action that you're going to take that, you know, it's false evident and it appears real. And you start to believe that. You tell yourself a certain story about something that you start to believe it, and you start to do things and not do these things because you're fearful of the outcome. You're fearful that people are going to make fun of it. You're fearful that you're going to fail. You're fearful that it's not going to work in your favor. You're fearful of all these things. And that's what happens. I remember when I first had to speak in public. Man, that was man, the first time I had to speak in public, that was tough for me. I was so scared. I was like, man, I got to speak in public. Oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. It was my first event, but I was stepping out of my comfort zone, you know, because what I had to realize was, I was like, yo, what makes me uncomfortable? Yo, waking up at this time makes me uncomfortable. You know, speaking in public makes me uncomfortable. Talking to people about my business makes me uncomfortable. Asking for help makes me uncomfortable because, you know, I'm from New York. So, you know, New York people are very prideful. You know, they're like, nah, I don't need no help. I got it. You know, so I always had that mindset when I came into this business. I'm like, nah, bro, I don't need no help from nobody. I got it. Don't worry. I'll take care of it. You know, but that mindset doesn't work in business. You know, you need help. You need mentorship. You need guidance. You know, so, you know, stepping out of my comfort zone, being fearful was, you know, asking for help. But tell you guys a funny story. The first time I had to speak in public, man, that was tough. And I signed up for it. You know, one of our leaders was like, yo, we need to run an event in New York City. Who's going to step up and run it? Who's going to step up and, you know, speak at this event? And I saw a few people raise their hand, and they were like, yo, we need one more. And nobody was raising their hand. We were like, yo, we need 3 speakers for this event. 2 had already raised their hand, and they were already leaders. And then I'm looking around, and nobody wants to raise their hand. And the guy's like, yo, is anybody else going to raise their hand, or we're just going to pick somebody? And I'm there, and I'm like, you know, talking to myself. I'm like, yo, should I raise my hand? I don't know if I could do this. And he was like, yo, I'm going to give you guys one last chance. Who's going to raise their hand? Or if not, I'm going to just randomly pick one of you guys. And I just raised my hand. I'm like, I'll do it. But yo, deep down inside, my hands were sweating. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I just signed up for it. They were like, yeah, let's go. Let's give it up for my guy Nano stepping up. But at the time, I was so scared. I was so scared. And I remember leading up to the days of my first speaking engagement, bro, I was so nervous. Like in the Uber there, like on the Uber on my way to do my first speaking engagement, you know, I was so nervous. I was so scared. I told my boy, I'm like, yo, bro, honestly, I think we may need to go grab a little quick drink or something so I could loosen up. I was like, yo, let's go grab like some margaritas or something. Cause man, I cannot go up there like this, bro. I cannot go up there like this. He was like, yo, chill, bro, relax. You good. You're gonna kill it. There's only like 20 people, 30 people. I was like, nah, bro, I don't think you understand, bro. Like, I need to grab a quick drink. I need to loosen up real quick. And you know what's funny? My boy was laughing this whole time because my boy has experience. So I was like, bro, I just need a drink real quick, bro. I just need a drink real quick. I just need something to loosen me up. And you know, and for some reason, when you get a drink in or two, you know, you kind of loosen up a little bit. And you start to feel a little bit more jolly and whatever. So, you know, I had to have a drink, and I went upstairs and I killed it. And I killed it, guys. I did great. You know, I did great, and I'm so happy that I did. You know, and it was amazing. But you know, what if I didn't? You know, what if I didn't raise my hand? You know, what if I didn't raise my hand? What if I was scared to step up and raise my hand and be like, yo, I want to speak? You know, what if I didn't fly out to that convention? What if I didn't do all of those things? You know, I wouldn't have put myself in the position that I am today. I stepped into those fear zones. I stepped into those, you know, unknown places. You understand? And that was, and you know, I share these moments with you guys because I want you guys to realize that I'm no different than any of y'all. As you guys can see, I'm just like any of y'all. I know what it's like to be nervous. I know what it's like to step into that unknown place and not know what's going on, and you know, be scared of what other people are gonna say about you. And it's amazing, fam. And I want you guys to understand that. And another thing I want to say about the fear zone is this. Okay, once you start stepping out of your comfort zone, there's going to be people around you that are going to install their fears and their doubts into you. I mean, just remember I told you that. When you start to step out of your comfort zone, too many people are going to start to install their fears and their doubts onto you. They're going to be like, bro, you can't do that. Are you really going to do that? Don't do it, bro. It's not for you. You know, stick to your job. Do what you're good at. Don't waste your time. All of that stuff doesn't work. You know, they're going to start to install their fears onto you, their doubts onto you. Make sure you don't buy them. Okay? Don't let people around you, because remember, you're in the box with them. You're in the box with them. And remember, misery loves what? What does misery love? Misery loves company. So if misery loves company, the moment that they see Carlos step out, Cedric step out, Mary step out, Emmanuel step out, the moment they start to see all of you guys step out, they're going to be like, yo, where you going? Come here. Don't do that, bro. Don't waste your time going over there. What you going to go to Vegas for? What you going to do that event for? What you got to wake up early for? Come on, bro. Stay up late. Let's chill. Let's smoke. Relax, my brother. Let's go out to eat. Let's go to this party. Right away, the moment you start to step out of your comfort zone, people will come and tell you, yo, don't do those things, this, so on and so forth. So, yeah, it's like the crabs in the bucket. You know, they're not going to let that crab get out. Bring you right back in. So you got to understand that. Don't let the fear zone keep you stuck. Okay? Love the fear zone. Whatever, like I said, guys, whatever you are scared of, whatever brings you fear, do it. Don't be scared about it. Step out of that comfort zone. I've always told you guys this, and I'm going to tell you guys this again, just in case you don't remember. One of the biggest, I would say, strategies that brought me the biggest success in this business, okay, was when I sat down and I made a list of all the things that made me uncomfortable and I started to do them. I promise you that. My biggest breakthroughs came from that. Some of my biggest breakthroughs came from me sitting down. Okay. I sat down and created a list of all the things that made me uncomfortable. All of them. From waking up early to speaking in public to asking for help to talking to people about my business to this to that. All of the things that made me uncomfortable. And I started to do them every day because I knew that that list was my fear zone. And I started to do them. I started to wake up earlier. I started to talk to people about my business. I used to do the 3 feet rule. If you came within 3 feet of me, I had to talk to you about my business. Everybody, mailman, people in the elevator, my Ubers, I'm standing in line with you. I'm talking to you about my business. My waiter, you were sitting behind me at a restaurant and you seem like a good person. I'm talking to you. We're on the train together. I'm talking to you. We're standing online waiting for some food. I'm talking to you about my business. Bro, I got to a point where I was literally talking to everybody about my business. Think about it. 3 feet rule. Anybody who came within 3 feet of me, yo, you have a phone? Let me show you. Look, I actually run a business teaching. I already knew the pitch. I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? You have a phone? They're like, yeah, I got a phone. I'm like, do you know how to make money from it? No? Well, look, I actually run a business, where I teach people how to make money from their homes and their phones. And I'm actually looking for people to connect with. You have Instagram? Let's connect. That was my pitch. I still remember it to this day. You have Instagram? Let's connect. They didn't have Instagram. If you don't mind giving me your number. Nah, bro, I don't do that. Then that's fine, man. Appreciate you, bro. Just wanted to, share with you a little bit about what I was doing. Bro, and I did that to everybody around me. Yo, you got a phone, right? Yeah. Awesome, man. You know how to make money from it? I know most of them don't know how to make money from it. You know how to make money from it? They were like, nah, bro, I wish. You know how New York people are. Nah, bro, I wish. I like, bro, I run a business where I'm teaching people how to make money from their phones. And they were like, bro, how? I was like, bro, I'd rather show you than tell you. Let's connect on IG. And then, I'll show you some more later. Bro, and I would go around place by place, everywhere. Everywhere I went, I was programmed to talk to people about my business. Yo, bro, but tell me more about it. Like, said, bro, I got to go, man. I got to go. I'm in a rush right now. But, give me your IG and we'll chop it up later. I'll send you some more information. And I got out of that fear of talking to people. I had a huge fear to talk to people about my business, but I got out of that. I had a fear of waking up early for some reason. I got out of that. I got fear of going to events. I got out of that. I got fear of speaking in public. I got out of all of these things. Did you get them enrolled? Not everybody, but some did. I got a lot of people enrolled from that. So it was one of those things that, were required, and that's super, super important for me. So, the fear zone is super key. That's the second zone. The third zone is the learning zone. The learning zone. The learning zone is, when you stepped out of your comfort zone and you've been living outside of your comfort zone for long enough, this is when you'll start, learning more. You see, because, when I stepped into the fear zone, so you got to think about it. Started like this. Let's say we got the comfort zone, then you have the fear zone, and then you have the learning zone. Okay. Once you get rid of that fear, you actually start to learn. Because if you think about it, okay, I was in my comfort zone in the hood. Let me give you the perfect example of it. I was in my comfort zone in the hood. I didn't want to leave the hood. Then I stepped into the fear zone when I flew out to Vegas for my first entrepreneur event. Okay. And while I was at that entrepreneur event, I then right there literally stepped into the learning zone, because out there I took the time to actually learn. I was like, yo, I'm learning stuff. I'm doing things I've never done. I'm speaking in public. I'm talking to people about my business. The things that I was once fearful of doing now are regular to me. You got to think about that. Imagine when all the things that you are fearful of doing, imagine when all the things that you are uncomfortable doing right now become comfortable to you. Imagine that. Imagine all those things. Think about everything that makes you uncomfortable right now. Think about that. Waking up early, talking to people, business, this, that, whatever it is that makes us uncomfortable. Imagine that you get to the point now where everything that makes you uncomfortable is just comfortable for you now. It's just like, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, waking up at a certain time. You start to learn a lot then, because I started to realize, I'm like, man, I can actually do this. I'm actually learning from this. I'm actually enrolling people into my business for this. Like, I started to really realize, like, the things that I was fearful of doing were the things that were bringing me the results. I started to learn that. I'm like, Nano, the things that you were scared of doing, the things that you were uncomfortable doing, these are the things that are actually bringing you the results. These are the things that are actually bringing you happiness, the fulfillment that I was lacking in my life. And my income started to grow. I went from $600 a month to $1,000 a month, from $1,000 a month to $2,000 a month. And I'm like, I was a little bit more confident, because you got to remember, I was somebody that was earning $20 a day from my parents. So when now I'm making $2,000 a month, $2,500 a month, I know that's not a lot of money, but for the first time in my life, I'm earning $500 a week. So I thought I made it. I was like, I was walking with my chest up. I was a little bit more confident. I was like, yeah, man, I'm earning $500 a week now. I felt a little bit more confident going to the restaurant now. I'm like, yeah, we can maybe eat a little better now. Things started to get better for me. You feel me? I was chest up. I was big Nano now. And I was happy and I was excited, even though it wasn't a lot of money at the time, obviously. But for me, for somebody who had never, earned a check, because I had never worked a job, $500 a week, I was lit. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was lit. And at the time, remember, I was living with my parents. So, order that drink, baby. At the time, I didn't have bills, because I was living with my parents. So, and at the time, if I'm honest, my parents used to pay the bills. I'm keeping it 100 with you guys. I was 24 years old living with my parents. My parents would pay the rent, the cable, all of this stuff, the Wi-Fi. The only thing I would help with was the phone bill at the time, because in my parents' eyes, I was broke. They didn't know nothing I was doing. They didn't know I was making. They didn't even know I was making $500 a week. So, but it was amazing, because all of these changes started to happen the moment I stepped out of my comfort zone and I started to learn a lot. I really learned a lot. I learned so much from doing things that made me uncomfortable. And, I started to do those things. And think about it, a morning routine was something that made me uncomfortable. But my morning routine changed everything for me, because think about it. Now I'm reading, I'm meditating, I'm journaling, I'm writing in my journal, I'm listening to audios when I step into cars. I was in a different time in my life, fam. Like, people couldn't even believe it. People couldn't even believe some of this stuff. People were like, yo, Nano, you reading now? Like, you're meditating now? Like, what's that all about? People couldn't even believe that I was doing this stuff. But I was in my learning zone. I was in that zone. I was learning. I was willing to learn. I wanted to fulfill myself. I was tired of being that same person. I was sick of it, fam, to be honest. I didn't care what anybody had to say. I always say this to people. I'm like, bro, I feel like I made personal development cool, within my circle. Because before, when you would do personal development, people would make fun of you. Like, people would be like, bro, you're meditating, you're a nerd, bro. Like, you read, like, you have a journal. Like, what's that about? Like, people don't do that stuff where we're from. So when I'm telling people and I'm showing people in my story that I'm journaling and that I'm reading a book and that I'm sitting at a park under a tree meditating, when you're from the hood, people look at you different. People are like, yo, what's up with you, bro? You good? Like, and I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm just, and I was in the best place of my life. I was in the best place of my life. My brother Jose said in the chat, I remember you walking, in the hood with the suit on. And it's true. I remember walking in the hood with my suit on, and everybody was like, there we go. Look at my boy. But it's important for you guys to understand that learning zone. I stepped into that learning zone. I stepped into that learning zone heavy, 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 heavy. But I'm telling you, stepping into that learning zone, brought so much clarity to me. I actually realized that we live in a system. If I would have never stepped into that zone, I would have never known that we are all part of a system and that we are living in a matrix. I would have never known any of that stuff. I understand why now so many people are stuck, because some people don't even know that we are all part of a system. And they don't even understand that the system is designed for us to stay the same. And, and people don't know this stuff. People have no idea that this system is designed to keep us stuck. But nobody knows that in the hood because they haven't taken the time to step out they don't even step out into the fear zone. Nonetheless, the learning zone. And I started to learn these things, and I started to, really pay attention to these things. And I was like, yo, we really in a system. We really messed up right now. Hold up, fam. Let me grab my charger real quick. Hold up. I gotta grab it real fast. But yeah, fam. Yeah, people were wilding. Nobody really knows that we stuck in a system for real. So I had to like really show people what it was, and it changed a lot, honestly. Once I realized what's really going on, everything changed. For real, for real. Let me plug this in. Here we go. Okay, now we solid because I don't want this to turn off. But it was something that I realized because once you start to learn, a lot of things get put into perspective for you. And then I realized, I'm like, bro, I'm in the hood. In the hood, the hood is real failure zone, because if you think about it, everything is low vibrational. They have, they sell drugs on every corner. They have a liquor store in every corner. They have fast food on every corner. And then I started to see, I was like, man, this is tough, man. How is anybody ever gonna make it out of here? That's what I started to think. I'm like, bro, nobody's gonna make it out of here. Like, I need to be the one that makes it out of here so I can show people that it's possible. So I knew that I had to be the one that did the most to make it happen. You see, guys, remember, you guys remember I told you guys that, God whispers a vision in certain individuals' ears, and only some choose to actually follow through with that vision. I was that individual. When I was in the hood living, right, I was whispered that vision, and multiple of us were whispered the vision, and we were all running it together. But a lot of them, they never took the time to really step into the fear zone and the learning zone. They stayed in the comfort zone. So a lot of people were whispered the vision, okay, but a lot of them stayed in the comfort zone. They never stepped out. I would say I was the only one that stepped into the fear zone, the learning zone, and number 4, I'll get into it now, is the growth zone. And it took time. And to be honest, we're still pushing, but if it wasn't for me, making the decision to step out and be the example, I wouldn't have led the way for individuals like my brother G Hundo, who's running the play with us right now, real hood people, like people from the hood for real. I wouldn't have led the way for my brother Jose, who's on the call, for, my brother Michael Talks, a lot of individuals that are extremely successful today. They're going to be multiple 6 and 7 figure earners. These are my family, and you gotta think about it like this. If I did that in my neighborhood, I think it's up to you to do it in your neighborhood. Remember, guys, all of us are chosen individually here. All of you guys are chosen. It's time for you to do that in your community. And if you're on this call, it's because you're the chosen one. You're the one that's been chosen to run that play. You're the one that's been chosen to do that stuff, because Had I quit, who knows if anybody would have believed in the vision? Who knows if, we would have made it this far? We will never know. So, I had to stick through the tough times, through the failures, through the naysayers, through everything to show people that, we can do this. It doesn't matter that we come from the hood, we can do this. You understand? And that was something that you got to understand, that sometimes the road for us, especially for the ones on this call, guys, the road for us is always going to be harder. I want y'all all to know that. And I don't want to beat around the bush for it. The road for us, for the 300 and almost 400 people that we have on this call, for the 400 people that we have on this call, the road for us is always going to be harder. You know why? Because we are leaders. We are at the front. Okay? We lead from the front. And because we're in the front, we have to deal with the most. We have to be the strongest. We see the problems before others see the problems. We have to deal with the problems before others have to deal with them. So just understand that, yes, it's hard, but yes, it's worth it. And I know that a lot of you guys go through a lot. I know that a lot of you, some of the times, if I'm honest, some of you may not have the mental capacity to make it through sometimes. And it's hard and it's difficult. But just know you got to keep building yourself up and you can never quit. I remember those days when, I was like, man, am I even going to be able to do this? Like, God, I remember, going to bed at night with tears going down my eyes like this, like, I don't know if I could do this anymore, bro. Like, I don't know if I could keep going, God. Like, give me the sign. Show me to keep doing this, because I don't know if I have another day left in me to do this anymore. Like, this is hard. This is hard. I'm still broke. I'm still, this is real stuff. This is real stuff that I'm talking to you guys about, right now. So, it's important that you guys understand this, fam. Like, real stuff. And, if it wasn't for me, taking that and running through all of this, I don't know if I would have made it this far. But, I got into number 4, right? What I said, which is the growth zone, and I started hitting breakthroughs and I found my purpose through Mornings with Nano, and my vision got super clear, and, everything started to make sense to me. And, I had been doing my morning routine for a little bit now, and, no longer did things faze me. I understood. I was already so far away from my comfort zone that the comfort zone didn't even exist to me anymore. You feel me? The comfort zone didn't even exist to me anymore. Being comfortable was like, it was almost like it was disgusting to me. I'm like, man, I can't be a comfortable dude. Come on, man. Let's go. Let's go, Nano. Can't be comfortable. Let's go. I was, as a matter of fact, I was looking for things to make me uncomfortable. And you want to get to that growth zone. Remember, you start in the comfort zone, then the fear zone, learning zone, growth zone. Okay. And then you hit the final zone, which is the infinite zone. The infinite zone is where you want to get to. That's like the ultimate zone right there, the infinite zone. That's when you made it for real. Right. And the infinite zone, this is when that's it. You are abundant. Nothing stops you from succeeding. You are, connected to your higher power. You've become that best version of yourself. You're vibrating at the highest level. You're always happy. Nothing phases you. Your emotional intelligence is at the highest it could ever be. You're just in a really, really good place, that infinite zone where there's no limits. Limits don't even exist in your mind. You can get $1 million a month. You can live on that house on the hills. You can buy that house on the cliff overlooking the ocean. You can drive that car. You're going to travel the countries and all of this stuff. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that I'm going to live in that house. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm going to live in a penthouse on the beach. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm going to be driving a Rolls-Royce Cullinan. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm going to visit, 70, 80 plus countries in my lifetime. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm going to buy my mom that house. There's no doubt in my mind that I can do anything that I put my mind to, because I understand that I can be, do, or have anything that I want in life as long as I put my mind to it. And I know the tricks to do it because I've learned so much from the books that I've read. I know exactly how I can get everything that I want. So I'm in the infinite zone. I live in the infinite zone, fam. That's where I live. No limits, no nothing. Like, that's where I'm at. And it takes time for you to get there. I'll be honest with you guys. When I was in my fear zone, a lot of you guys, look, if I'm honest, majority of people are stuck within the comfort zone and the learning zone. They're stuck there between those three zones. The first three zones is where most people stay. You know, it's either you're in that comfort zone and you're stuck. It's either you're in that fear zone and you're still in that, finding ways to step out of your comfort zone type stuff. Maybe some of you may be in that learning zone where you're now learning that, being uncomfortable is the key, and you're learning a lot. You started that morning routine. And then there's a small amount of people that are in that growth zone where, every day they're growing. Remember, in order for you to consider that you're in the growth zone, and this is important so we can wrap this up, in order for you to tell, for you to know if you're truly in the growth zone, you have to be doing, things daily. Like, it has to be every day. You have to be in it every single day, Monday through Sunday. You're growing, you're reading, you're listening to audios, like, you're in it every day. That's the growth zone. Like, you're in it every day. You're doing your morning routine every day. You're literally living outside of your comfort zone every single day. That's the growth zone. So, and this is if you do want to answer it, but it's the embrace part. Facts. So let me ask you guys, hey, Nano, does a everyday routine count the same as a morning routine? Depends what your everyday routine is. I don't think it counts the same as a morning routine because, morning routine is a morning routine. You got to do it to start the day. But if, let's say, for example, you're doing a morning routine in the afternoon or in the nighttime, it still works. It still works as you did a routine. You're still pouring into yourself. But it counts more as a self-development routine than a morning routine, because a morning routine, the reason why it's so key is because it's at the beginning of the day, and it's what you feed your mind at the beginning of the day that determines a lot. So, that's what I would say to that. But guys, based off of what I talked about today, and truthfully, and if you don't want to answer it, you don't have to answer it. What zone do you feel like you're in? Are you in 1, 2, 3, 4? Or if you feel like you're a 5, put it at 5. But if you're going to say 5, you got to know that you got to have results if you're going to say 5. So where do you feel like you guys are at? If you could pick one, if you could pick 1 or 2, where would you say you're at? I want to see. I just want to see. In between 1 and 2, some people are at 3. Somebody said 5. Remember, if you're at 5, you got to have results. You got to have real results already. Let me see. 3 to 4, 3, 2s, 3 to 4, 1 to 2. Feel like I'm on second level. Learning for zone 0. Somebody said you're done for if you guys zone 0. Number 5 is the infinite zone. Okay, so like I said, a lot of you guys are in very similar zones, 2 to 3. My best advice for all of you is, find a way to get to the 4th zone as fast as possible. Spending as much time in the 4 will get you to the 5. So you want to spend as much time in the 4 as possible. Okay, and you got to remember, fam, for my people that are in level 2s and level 3s, in the fear zone, in the learning zone, keep doing those things that make you uncomfortable. A majority of you guys on this call, like I said, were in 2 and 3. Okay, I promise you guys, make that list of things that make you uncomfortable and go out there and do it. That will change everything for you. It'll change everything for you. You start to do those things and your whole life will change, guaranteed. Guaranteed. And I don't like to guarantee anything, but you start to do those things that I'm telling you, And these are the zones that are going to lead to your greatness, fam. So, these are the 5 zones. Number 1, comfort zone. Number 2, fear zone. Number 3, learning zone. Number 4, growth zone. Number 5, infinite zone. Okay, the goal is to get to the infinite zone where there is no limits, no distractions. Emotional intelligence is at 1,000,000. And that's what this is all about. All right, fam. So if you guys got this, if you guys got value from today's call, put a 5 in the chat box if you got value from today's call. I'm super blessed, super grateful to be here with all of you. I pray that everybody grows and elevates and starts to become a better version of themselves. And I feel like now knowing where you're at kind of gives you an idea of maybe what some of you guys need to do to get to the next level. Because based off of the zone that you're at, I already know what your results are. I promise you guys, based off of the zone that you're at, I know what your results are. Because I know what my results were when I was stuck at those levels. And I know that my results started to change for real when I was at level 4. When I started to hit 3 and 4, that's when I started to level up my results. When I was at level 3 and 4. But when I was at level 1, level 2, barely level 3, my results were not as good as I wanted them to. My results really started stepping up was when I was consistently in level 3 and 4. Consistently level 3, level 4. Like there. Can you be in between them all? No, I wouldn't say so, honestly. For me, I can't. It's hard for me to even go back to my fear zone. For me, I'm always like, I could go back to like learning zone 3, but for me, like comfort zone and fear zone don't even exist for me anymore. They don't even exist. I mean, I feel like the only thing that I have been fearful of, that I could tell you that maybe if I've gone back to the fear zone, is doing my calls in Spanish. But I've already been doing them in Spanish, so I've already been stepping into the fear zone, and I'm learning now and stuff. So besides that, nah, I wouldn't say that I have anything that I'm fearful of anymore. I've stepped out of my comfort zone and done a lot of things already. So I would say, like, for the most part, staying between 3 and 4 is the goal. If you're still in 2, that's not a tough place to be, is a good place to be. But it's important that you start getting into 3 and 4 ASAP. The goal is to be at 4 all the time. Growth zone, always growing, always elevating, morning routine on point. Like, you want to get to 4. 4 is the goal. Because when you stay at 4 long enough, okay, I think the fear is gone fast when I jumped out of that plane. When you get to 4, you're solid there. That's a good place to be. And then you stay at 4 long enough, and then you realize that you're infinite and that you can get anything that you want and that you're limitless. And then you'll hit the infinite zone, which is number 5. And that's the best place to be, fam. So I hope you guys got value from this training, and I hope that you guys teach this training. This training is very valuable. I know a lot of people who've gotten a lot of value from this, and I'm glad that you guys did as well. All right, fam. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Make sure that you guys subscribe to my channel. Make sure that you turn on the post notifications as well. Leave a comment below. Let everybody know what's going on. And with that being said, I'm going to do a quick prayer for us, and we're going to get out of here, fam. Quick prayer. Bow your head. Let's pray. Father God, thank you so much for blessing us with this beautiful and abundant Thursday morning where we get a chance to wake up and serve our purpose and grow and become the best version of ourselves. Because you woke us up today, God, we know that you are not done with us, and we are so thankful for the continuous work that you continue to put into us on a day-to-day basis. We are learning so much about the different zones that lead to our greatness, to the different ideas and strategies and the techniques and just unbelievable stories that we've all have. And you've chosen us, this specific group on these calls, and you've whispered that vision to us. And we understand now more than ever that the vision that you've whispered in our ear is a valuable mission. And it's something that we must embrace. It's something that we must, take extremely serious, because we're here to serve a higher purpose that is bigger than all of us. We're here to serve something that is going to serve hundreds and thousands and millions of people, for the years to come. So we understand that it's going to be difficult. We understand that it's going to be challenging, but we've accepted our role and we are ready to serve our purpose more than we've ever had before. And as long as we have you as our leader, and as long as we have you leading the way for us and leading the charge, we are confident that you will lead us to the promised land, Father. So thank you so much for your lessons. Thank you for your wisdom, the guidance. Thank you for being there for us. Thank you for helping us heal. Thank you for forgiving us of our trespasses. We love you so much and we appreciate you so much. Let's go out there and have a great day. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. 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 All right, fam. So love you guys so much. Appreciate you guys so much. Hope all of you guys have a phenomenal rest of your day. Make sure that you guys follow me on Instagram at Long Live Nano. I only have one Instagram. Please be careful of fake pages. I will never ask you for money. I will never, ask you to send me money. Never, ever, 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 ever. Okay, so be careful for that. Long Live Nano is one of my Instagrams. Okay, and then my other Instagram is at Mornings with Nano. Okay, so Mornings with Nano is also Instagram. There's only one Instagram and that Instagram only. Okay, I also have a journal that is currently out right now as well. This is a great journal for you to keep track of all the notes, for you to have a goal card. We have trainings in there. We have a place for you to write, a lot of things in there. So it's a great, great journal. You can get it for under $25 and, it's super valuable. Everybody loves it. And a lot of people have been getting a lot of value from it, fam. So, we have that journal on Amazon. If you guys want to purchase one, show love to the fam, share it with a friend, share it with a family. And I'm super, super grateful for all of you guys. All right, fam. So I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the last day of the week on Mornings with Nano, fam. God bless. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.